I love the tension.
Just wait for the clock to take over.
I suppose it's a violation of some state statute to start 2 minutes early.
Well, that just wouldn't be kind.
Oh no, now Jim's getting up.
All right. Let's get back to your seat. It's 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order.
Brooks,
Here.
Kushner,
Here.
Lund,
Here.
Bentley,
Here.
Holmberg.
Here. Item number 3, approval of city council minutes. For city council 4/12/21.
Move to approve.
Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Abstain.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. Council work session 4/12/21.
Move to approve.
Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, item 4, adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt.
Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. All right, item 5, 5/1 National Preservation Month. We have a proclamation. Do we have folks from the preservation here? Come on up. Do what? Yeah, don't be shy. Come on up. Take photos from here up. I'm in my single mode for the rest of the year. All right. Okay, is everybody? All right. Whereas National Preservation Month is a way to promote historic places for the purpose of instilling national and community pride, promoting heritage, tourism, showing the social and economic benefits of historic preservation. And whereas since 2008, the Historic Preservation Commission has completed a cultural resources survey, multiple property documentation form, and listing of the Grover Street Victorian Historical District and the Holden and Pine Streets Commercial Historical District on the National Historic Register of Historic Places. And whereas Warrensburg is home to 2 local landmarks, the Colonel Roberts House, and Phillips Gross Brewery Cave. And whereas the Historic Preservation Commission partners with Warrensburg Main Street to conduct an annual historic stroll downtown Warrensburg. And whereas the Historic Preservation Commission continues to conduct ongoing research to identify historic properties which have historic community or architectural value through the Grover and Broad Streets Architectural and Historical Survey. Now therefore, I, Scott Holmberg, Mayor of Warrensburg, Missouri, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2021 National Preservation Month in Warrensburg, Missouri. Call upon the residents of Warrensburg to join their fellow citizens across the United States in celebrating historic resources with our own community and increasing public awareness of the importance of historic preservation. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and seal this 26th day of April 2021.
Everybody smile.
I will tell you, a lawyer must have written all those words. I don't know when to breathe on those things yet, so. Yeah. Okay, moving on to item number 6, second reading of an ordinance. Item 6.1, you read that one.
Oh, you don't need to.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, wait, yeah, you do. I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else.
Okay,
Yeah, go
second
ahead.
reading of an ordinance
Sorry.
regarding home occupations, an ordinance repealing and replacing section 27-203 of the Code of City Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri regarding home occupation in residential district. Presented by Barb Carroll.
Mayor and City Council, this is an ordinance you had a hearing on 2 weeks ago, and we did the first reading. This is an update to our zoning regulations regarding home occupations. As you'll recall, home occupations are registered one time at the time they get their first business license, and then that's a one and done. You don't have to come back and do that annually. You just do that the one time. Some of the changes that are included in the update is allowing more than one home occupation at an address, as long as together they all meet the performance standards for in aggregate for home occupations. We have addressed some parking to make sure that there is not congestion on the streets in that neighborhood due to the home occupation itself. No changes in terms of number of customers a day, number of hours of operation, and several other things have not changed within the ordinance. Since your last meeting, we have not had any additional comment received at City Hall. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
On the parking, does that preclude, say you have 2 cars and you live there and you only have the 200 square feet of a business space? The way I heard you or understood you to say it last time, and what I read in my mind, they didn't sound the same.
So it's based on the number of bedrooms in the home. And so if you have a 2 or a 1 bedroom home, you're required to have 2 parking spaces.
Okay.
A 3 or 4 bedroom home requires 3 parking spaces. If you convert one of the bedrooms to the home occupation, then it no longer counts as a bedroom in that bedroom calculation for the home. It would count only as the square footage calculation for the home occupation.
Okay.
So we believe that, and then we think it'll be pretty much a wash for most places, particularly if you had a 4-bedroom home and you had, just the 3 parking spaces required. If you have a 2-car garage with 2 spaces out in front, I think you'll be fine. What we think it will do is where people are wanting to convert the garage into the home occupation, thereby eliminating a space while at the same time increasing the requirement. That's where we're going. People, unless you have, if you had a 3-car garage and 4 bedrooms, you could afford to convert that 3rd bay. So every case will be different as it is now, but I think for the most part, people will be fine.
Okay. We're just having a little bit of understanding.
So just for clarification, the number of bedrooms determines how many parking spaces.
Yes, for dwelling units, the number of bedrooms right now, that's true of any dwelling unit, whether you have a home occupation or not. The number of bedrooms determines how many parking spaces are required.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there's some residential uses that's not true, like hotels, fraternities.
Yeah.
There's some where that's not the case.
Okay. So if they turn 2 of those, but say you have a 3-bedroom, you turn 2 of those into for each business, do those become residential parking spaces, or do those become?
Those would become home occupation parking spaces.
Okay.
Because you converted the 2 bedrooms. Converting 2 bedrooms may be possible, may not be possible, because you've got that requirement that home occupations altogether not exceed 25% of the square footage of the house.
All right. Okay.
Any other questions?
For motion. No. Move to approve.
This is for adoption or rejection. Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. All right, item 6.2, second reading of an ordinance regarding shooting archer or weapons ranges. An ordinance amending chapter 27 of the Code of City Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri, regarding shooting, archery, or weapons ranges. Barb, you're up again.
Yes. You held a hearing 2 weeks ago on this one as well. If you'll recall, this ordinance is pretty simple in that we've added a definition for projectile weapon, and we have changed the term, though not the definition, for shooting, archery, or weapons range by adding the words weapon at the end for weapons range. And then use that term in the table of uses for 6.150 and 6.270, stating where those ranges can be located, is owned by right or by conditional use permit. The actual locations and districts they're allowed in has not changed, just the term itself. We've had no additional public comment on this ordinance either. Any questions?
Bill, want to do a motion?
Move to approve?
This is for adoption or rejection. Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. All right, item 6.3. Second reading of ordinance approving a conditional use permit for a fraternity at 201 North McGuire Street. An ordinance approving conditional use permit at 201 North McGuire Street for fraternity use, land use 1.520 without correcting the non-conforming situations that are not reasonably possible to eliminate. Barb, third time.
It's not my last time as well for this meeting. You had a public hearing 2 weeks ago on this item, which would establish a fraternity use at 201 North McGuire Street for the TKE house. There was comment received during that meeting. We have not had any since that meeting received by staff. The comments received at that meeting have been captured in the staff report for you if you have there towards the beginning in the first paragraph. Staff has recommended approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval at their meeting. Our reasons for that recommendation are contained in the staff report. It is consistent with the comprehensive city plan and your zoning district general business, your zoning regulations and intent for the general business district, as well as McGuire being an arterial street that is designed for higher intensity uses. Be happy to answer any questions.
No questions? Anybody want to do a motion?
Move to approve.
This is for adoption or rejection. Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. Item 6.4. Second reading of an ordinance authorizing a stop sign on northbound Maple Street and Oak Street, an ordinance authorizing, presented by Chief Rich Lockhart.
All right, we presented this to you 2 weeks ago. It's a key intersection. Looks like there should be a stop sign, but it's not. The traffic commission heard testimony from a resident in the area and agreed that if for safety's sake, a stop sign ought to be added. So it is here for you tonight. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
No questions, go for a motion.
Move to approve.
This is for adoption or rejection. Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 7, first and second reading ordinance. A first and second reading of an ordinance accepting permanent easement right-of-way dedication from Lucas Bohannon and Alicia Bohannon in Warrensburg, Missouri.
Thank you, Mayor Holmberg and City Council. This evening, we respectfully request that this easement be accepted, forwarded to a second reading this evening and accepted. The Pines Development Project at 1610 Hill Lake Road required offsite easements for the sewer main extension. The previous owner of 1202 Country View Lane had worked through that with the developer of the Pines, and we accepted those easements back in September of 2020. Since then, 1202 Country View Lane has sold and it has a new owner. And as they got out to the site and they actually started putting in the sewer main, they realized that where that easement was would take out 6 mature oak trees. So the current owner of 1202 Country View Lane has granted us additional easement so that that sewer main extension can be moved to preserve those 6 additional oak trees.
Move to approve.
Second reading by title.
Move to.
Is it?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
moved
Move to
to,
pass said ordinance the second reading by title.
Brooks,
yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes.
This is an ordinance accepting permanent easement right-of-way dedication from Lucas Bohannon and Elisa Bohannon in Warrensburg, Missouri. This is for adoption or rejection. Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. Item 7.2, second and first reading of an ordinance authorizing the city manager and city clerk to execute an agreement with HDR Engineering Incorporated for grant funding services.
Again, we respectfully request that this ordinance be moved to second reading this evening and accepted or passed. On April 6th, voters authorized $17 million in general obligation bonds during that election. One of the primary reasons for us to asking residents to approve that $17 million in bonds was so that we would be able to compete for federal grants that would require a 40 to 60% match. We have been talking for several years about redoing the bridge over Highway 50 on McGuire, and we know that that is a $23 million project. However, we do not have $23 million to replace that bridge, nor do we have the money available to us to go and ask for a federal grant that would give us 40 to 60% of that. So that is why we went out and we asked for those bonds on April 6th. The intent was to look for the build grant, which was a funding opportunity that was available at the federal level. The original notice of funding opportunity was issued on January 21st of 2021 with a deadline of April 20th of 2021. We knew that that's a very short time frame to turn around a grant application of this size and magnitude with just 14 days between when we had our election results and certification. So we were prepared to go for this grant in the following year, in 2022. However, that notice of funding opportunity was rescinded and a new one was issued on April 13th with a new deadline of July 12th. So we are recommending as staff that we go ahead and move forward with preparing our grant application. So the new funding opportunity is called the RAISE grant. So we will no longer be referring to it as a build. I think we've all have heard that language a lot. So RAISE is the new terminology. It stands for Rebuilding America's Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity. So that grant is going to be evaluated on safety, environmental sustainability, quality of life, economic competitiveness, state of good repair, innovation, and partnership. Projects that improve racial equity, reduce climate change impact, create good paying jobs will be prioritized. We know this is going to be an incredibly competitive grant process. So we are recommending that we enlist the services of HDR Incorporated, Engineering Incorporated, to help us prepare that grant application. They already have, they're the ones who prepared the original study and concept of the diverging diamond over 50. So they already have a lot of the data and have already done a lot of the analysis that was required to put that together. That would also be required in preparing this grant application. They would just have to update it with new numbers. Additionally, they have the expertise and the technical skills to help us write this very competitive, complicated, and very extensive application. They have also been experienced writing these, and they have also been successful in writing these formally build grant applications. The total cost of this services with HDR is $62,729. Because we were not anticipating moving forward with this in the 2021 budget year, we did not budget for it. So it is not currently in your budget. However, We do have proceeds remaining from the general obligation bond issuance in 2017, which is the funding that we would use to pay for these services. With that, I will stand for any questions and passage of this ordinance.
Move to pass said ordinance to second reading by title.
Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes.
This is an ordinance authorizing the city manager and city clerk to enter into an agreement with HDR Engineering Incorporated for grant funding services. This is for adoption or rejection. Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. All right, item number 8, appearances to the council not listed on the agenda. We have a Mr. David Sheehan, if I said that right. Please come.
But you already passed it, so it's all good.
Okay. Mr. Ed Worthwing?
Yep, and I'm, same with you, you already passed it, so.
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much for coming. Okay, mayoral appointments. I have 3 park board members I'd like to appoint, and then 1 Steve Granger, voting member, Energy and Sustainability Task Force.
Move to approve as presented.
Brooks,
Yes.
Kushner,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes. Miscellaneous matters for the mayor and or city council. I've got one that I want to open up a little bit, not too much depth, but I made a reach out to Parks Board. We all know that we're in some conversations with them. Tarl and I and a couple Park Board members and Danielle Fessler and Danielle Doolin have met and plan to meet again, and really just trying to open up some of those conversations. And so I don't have any details, but I did want to share that we're talking about that, and we'll update as we go forward. Then the only other cool thing I think is, well, there's a lot of cool things, but we are having Arbor Day proclamation Friday at 11:30. If anybody wants to come, we're going to plant a tree outside of Maple Grove. Some of those folks are going to come, some other people. So you'll get to see the mayor in a ditch planting a tree. That's cool. So anyway, but it'll be fun. Anything else of staff? Any, Jill, anybody on Zoom?
Saturday night, I attended downtown for the evening opening the farmer's market. I'd call it a resounding success. The amount of people that were down there, the band was playing, the streets were full. It was a pretty good time.
Well, that's good.
There are 2 questions on.
Okay.
First one is, are citizens going to have any input on the design of the bridge?
So we already, make sure everyone can hear me on Zoom. We went through a public process and already determined that the diverging diamond was the design that the community wanted to see back in 2016. So again, as we kind of look at and we move on and we start getting additional details and a concept starts to become more concrete, if there are opportunities for public input, we will definitely look for those.
And there's a second question, can citizens get an ACH payment option to use for sewer payments?
We might have to ask Marcella about the ACH. I think there's a reason that Tyler Technologies does not allow us to do that. Is that correct?
there is an opportunity for you to provide us the data for us to draw money as an ACH. If the question is an electronic transfer or electronic check, then there's a fee associated with that that requires us to pass that fee on to the customer. And that's a fee that Tyler charges the city to manage the website.
One question?
Yeah, the type of thing,
I did just have one thing in my city manager report if we are there at that point in the agenda.
Yeah,
Uh,
or yes, I should.
Thursday, Thursday this week, April 29th is council tours of city departments. And so we will start at 8 a.m. at the street division building. So that's at 448 Water Street. And we will start there with coffee and donuts, and then we will work our way through a very extensive agenda and tour schedule. So because of coronavirus is still amongst us and still trying to socially distance, we will ask that everyone drive themselves or have maybe one other person in their vehicle, but we are not going to arrange transportation with several of us in one vehicle. So we will caravan and out to all the different facilities. We're all very much looking forward to it and hosting all of you. So
Looking forward to it. Director of Finance, Marcel.
I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I don't have it.
No need for closed meeting tonight.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No need for a closed meeting tonight, correct? All right, then I call this meeting adjourned.
You don't get to talk.
It's like, yeah.
Pretty quick.
Guys, I don't even like second front.
Brian, don't leave. I need your signature.
There you go.
Okay, don't leave. I need your signature too.
You guys don't realize I'm actually an introvert.
I know.
When I want to move stuff forward, I come out of the shell, but I don't set it here on top of it. Right.
Now, wait a minute. No. No.
Yeah, you just
All
got.
right, take it here. Here's the right one.
I did my interview.
Don't want to deal with that.
Brian's signing the first part of the meeting, and then we'll do the second. And then there'll be a study session. Okay, but we're not done. All of these that are passed.
Oh, I got to sign them?
Yeah, that's final. And I'm sorry, I was thinking about, that Rhonda Gilbach in the back of the room, and you asked him, yeah, whenever it's been read the first time in a prior meeting, you read it. But I was gonna give him a clip here. I would just start working with the cards.
I figured that out.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, he didn't realize that, and I can see where it throws you off, because.
I was about to say, right around the hour. Yeah, he's well in depth.
What's funny is, you know,
Yeah,
Yeah, Marcy,